She was the woman who lit up every screen she stepped onto, but behind the smile was a storm Hollywood couldn't ignore. Loni Anderson's death at the age of 79 marks the final chapter in a life filled with beauty, fame, scandal, resilience, and reinvention. Known to millions as the glamorous receptionist Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati, she was much more than just a sitcom star. She was a pop culture icon, a woman who broke stereotypes, someone who navigated the stormy seas of Hollywood with grace, even when her private life was thrown into the spotlight. But one aspect of her life has continued to dominate public interest: her high-profile and emotionally charged divorce from screen legend Burt Reynolds. Theirs was a romance made for the silver screen and a breakup that became a national obsession. Before we dive into the life, love, and legacy of a true Hollywood icon, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt tributes and untold stories behind the stars. Let's explore the biography of how long that battle lasted, why it captured so much attention, what it reveals about the real Loni Anderson. Born in 1945 in St. Paul, Minnesota, Loni Anderson rose to fame in the late 1970s as the stunning yet sharp-witted Jennifer Marlowe in WKRP in Cincinnati. Her role as the capable, intelligent receptionist challenged Hollywood's outdated portrayal of blondes as mere eye candy. She quickly became a household name, praised for her comedic timing, charisma, and undeniable screen presence. But Anderson's off-screen life soon became just as famous as her on-screen persona. In 1988, after years of dating, Loni Anderson married Burt Reynolds, Hollywood's quintessential macho man. At the time, their union was seen as a golden match: glamorous, passionate, and picture-perfect. The media couldn't get enough of them, however. That fairy tale unraveled just 5 years later, igniting one of the most public, bitter, and drawn-out celebrity divorces of the 1990s. The couple separated in March 1993, when Reynolds abruptly filed for divorce. What followed was a legal and emotional battle that lasted nearly 4 years, one that played out in front of cameras in courtrooms. Here's a rough timeline of how it unfolded. 1993. Reynolds announced the separation and accused Anderson of excessive spending and neglecting their adopted son. Quinton, 1993 to 1995. A brutal custody dispute over Quinton and public mudslinging dominated. Tabloids, 1995 to 1997. Counter lawsuits emerged, including allegations of physical abuse by Anderson, which Reynolds strongly denied. By the late 1990s, a final settlement was reached, though the emotional wounds were slow to heal. Anderson claimed in interviews and her memoir that Reynolds was emotionally abusive, even physically violent at times. Reynolds, on the other hand, painted her as materialistic and controlling. The contrast between the smiling red carpet couple and the court filings stunned fans and tarnished their once glamorous image. This was more than a private split, became one of the first celebrity divorces to be consumed by the 24-hour news cycle. Magazines, talk shows, and entertainment reporters dissected every allegation, every quote, every hearing. In the wake of the divorce, Loni Anderson could have faded into the shadows, defined solely by scandal, but she didn't. Instead, she slowly reclaimed her narrative. She took on select roles in television movies and guest appearances, avoiding the limelight for much of the late 1990s and early 2000s. More importantly, she became an outspoken advocate for health awareness, particularly around COPD. After losing both her parents to the disease, her passion for advocacy gave her new purpose, away from the chaos of the Hollywood spotlight. And in a quiet, redemptive twist to her life story, Loni found love again. In 2008, she married musician Bob Flick, her fourth husband, and a former flame she had met decades earlier. A relationship built on mutual respect and calm companionship. It was far from the storm of her years with Reynolds. Loni Anderson passed away peacefully, closing a remarkable chapter in television history. Her legacy, while often linked to her painful divorce, is so much more than that. She was one of the few women in Hollywood who managed to balance beauty with brains, fame with compassion, and failure with fierce comebacks. Her role as Jennifer Marlowe remains iconic, not because she looked the part, but because she redefined what that part could be. She proved that being beautiful didn't mean being naive, that being funny didn't mean lacking strength, that being underestimated was just fuel for a stronger comeback. Tributes poured in from fans, co-stars, and Hollywood insiders after her passing. Many remembered her for her elegance, humor, and unshakable grace. Others recalled the strength she displayed when her personal life was ripped open for the world to see, and how she carried on anyway, while her turbulent divorce with Burt Reynolds may forever be part of her story. It is not the defining chapter. It's a part of her legacy, yes, but not the soul of it. Loni Anderson was a trailblazer in an era when women in television were too often cast aside once they hit 40. She fought for roles that had substance. She endured public humiliation with dignity, and she found love, purpose, and peace on her own terms. She was, in every sense, a survivor. In remembering Loni Anderson, we honor a woman who lived boldly, hurt publicly, and healed privately, Her life was full of contradictions, glamour, and heartbreak. Laughter and pain, but it was also full of lessons. Let's not just remember her for the headlines and scandals. Let's remember her for the joy she brought to our screens, the courage she showed behind them, and the legacy she leaves behind as one of television's most enduring, misunderstood, unforgettable stars. The world has said goodbye to one of Hollywood's most iconic faces, Loni Anderson, for her glamorous presence and unforgettable role in WKRP in Cincinnati. Loni wasn't just a TV star. She was a symbol of resilience, class, and strength. As tributes continue to pour in, here's a full reflection on her life, career, family, fortune, and the legacy she leaves behind. Loni Anderson began her career in the 1970s, working in film and TV after earning a degree in art from the University of Minnesota. But it was her breakout role as Jennifer Marlowe in the hit sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati, 1978 to 1982, that turned her into a household name. As the smart, confident, and glamorous receptionist, Loni shattered the dumb blonde stereotype. Her performance earned her multiple Emmy and Golden Globe nominations, and she remained one of television's most beloved figures through the 80s and 90s. Beyond WKRP, she starred in shows like Easy Street Partners and Crime, Nurses the Love Boat, Fantasy Island, dozens of TV movies and guest appearances. Loni also portrayed Jane Mansfield in a biographical television film, adding dramatic weight to her resume. Her career longevity was marked by both beauty and brains, a rare combination that earned her respect across the industry. Loni Anderson was married 4 times, most famously to actor Burt Reynolds. Their marriage, which began in 1988, ended in a highly publicized and painful divorce in the 1990s. They adopted a son, Quentin Reynolds. During their marriage, despite the divorce battle, Anderson remained deeply committed to motherhood. She raised Quentin with care and dignity, keeping him away from the media circus as much as possible. In 2008, Loni married Bob Flick, a founding member of the folk group, the Brothers Four. Their love story, rooted in a friendship from the 1960s, was a quiet but beautiful chapter of her life. They remained married until her death. She also had a daughter, Deidre Hoffman, from a previous marriage. Deidre was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and Loni became her caregiver and emotional rock, showing strength and compassion as a mother. At the time of her passing, Loni Anderson's estimated net worth was around $12 million. Her fortune came from a mix of long-running TV shows, movie roles, endorsements, and appearances, memoir sales, my life in high heels, real estate, and investments, despite years of legal fees. In personal hardships, Anderson managed her career and finances wisely, securing a comfortable life for herself and her family, while no official cause of death has been made public at the time of reporting. Sources close to the family confirmed that Loni Anderson passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Her funeral service will be a private ceremony, attended only by close friends and family. However, plans for a public memorial or celebration of life are expected to be announced in the coming days. As fans and former colleagues request an opportunity to pay tribute, the reaction to Loni's passing has been overwhelming. Fans, co-stars, and celebrities took to social media to express their sorrow and gratitude. Celebrity tributes: Howard Hesseman's family, her WKRP co-star, released a statement. "Loni brought so much joy and light to our set. She was not just beautiful, she was brilliant." Morgan Fairchild tweeted, "Heartbroken to hear about Loni Anderson. The true lady, a fierce talent, and a survivor. Rest in power." Marilu Hennar said, "Loni was the gold standard. Funny, elegant, loyal. There will never be another quite like her." Fans from all over the world flooded comment sections and forums to share their memories. "She was the reason I watched WKRP. Jennifer was my favorite character of all time. Growing up in the 80s, she was a role model, smart, stylish, and kind. My mom always said Loni Anderson was the woman who proved you could be pretty and powerful." Some fans even organized online vigils and tribute videos, honoring the star who gave them comfort, laughter, and inspiration for decades. Loni Anderson wasn't just a television actress. She was a cultural icon, a survivor of Hollywood's harsh spotlight, and a beacon for women who wanted to break out of stereotypes. Behind her beauty was resilience. Behind her fame was humility. Behind her career was a strong woman who fought for love, for her children, and for her voice. Her divorce from Burt Reynolds may forever be part of her public image, but it's not the story we should remember her by. Instead, let us recall the laughter she brought into our homes, the strength she showed during heartbreak, the kindness she displayed to those closest to her, in her own words. From an interview years ago, "You can go through fire and still come out glowing, just in a different way." Loni Anderson has left us, but her glow, that will never fade. Rest in peace, Loni. You were not just a star on screen, you were a light in the lives of millions.